After hitting it big with his 5-time Emmy-nominated turn on Modern Family, my guest today is finally back on Broadway in the solo show, Fully Committed. Good to see you, Jesse.
You
Tyler
nailed
Ferguson.
it. You nailed
the intro. How you doing?
Good. It's good to see
you. So happy
you.
to see you.
Likewise.
I'm so happy you're here, and I'm so happy you're on Broadway.
Thank you.
And I saw your show, and I loved it.
Thank you. Yeah, you saw my show. And on a performance where we had just put in about 20 pages of changes.
I intentionally do that.
Well, I'm glad. I'm always happy to have a friendly face in the audience. But it was, yeah, it's been really fun. It was a wild ride.
Yeah, I tried to go when artists are at their most vulnerable.
Yeah.
I like to see
Always.
that performance. Sure. That's the one I always ask for. So this play, I remember this play from the 90s. It was like off-Broadway, like 99?
99.
Mark Setlock was in it, and he came to see
the show last night.
Yeah, I saw your photo.
Yeah, I didn't want to know him when he was coming. I'm not nervous about, like, Helen Mirren could be in the audience.
Right.
I'm like, it's fine. But I was nervous about Mark seeing the show because he has such a close, tie
Yeah.
to it. And Becky Mode, who's the writer of Fully Committed and his very good friend, said, he's going to come, but he's not telling you when. I'm not sure if he's going to come back. I'm not sure how he's going to feel about, wanting to say hi to you right away. But he came back and he gave me the biggest hug. And I was like, we need to go out and have lunch. And I have a million questions for him. Right. So he's such a cool guy.
He was actually, fun fact, wasn't he was Angel in Workshop.
Yeah, in the workshop
of Rent. He was Angel. Yeah,
I remember and then was on in Rent as an ensemble member.
Right.
Yeah.
But I remember I had a demo of Rent before there was a cast album, and he sang Angel on it. So that's a fun fact.
Super talented guy.
And Roger Bart did it, right? And
Roger Bart and Christopher Fitzgerald did it when he transferred to the Cherry Lane.
Right.
Fully Committed, not Rent.
Fully Committed.
Yes.
Did you see it back then?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see
it.
I
was in town.
Yeah.
I moved to New York in 1994, and so I was here when it was running, and it was always, is circling amongst my consciousness. But like, it was that show that was apparently like really hard to do. It was downtown.
Yeah.
When they were recasting it and like finding replacements for it, it's like, if you had an audition for Fully Committed, that was like, it's a really big deal.
Yeah.
I don't think I could get seen for it. I didn't have enough clout.
Right. And now look at you now. Look at that. Broadway. And it's fun that there's this thing now of bringing off-Broadway shows to Broadway with names. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny with Hedwig
and
Lady Day, even.
Right.
Lady Day with Oz.
Absolutely,
It's become a thing.
It's become a thing. It's a trend.
So this play, you play Sam, and about, what, is it 40 people? Is it 40 characters?
It's around 40.
40-ish?
I think, we've fluxed a little bit. We've added, we've taken away. Okay. So I have to go back and count again, but I have such bigger fish to fry. I'm like, it's around 40.
Yeah, that's not a priority.
It's not a priority right now.
Next time I see it, I'll count.
Yeah.
That'll be my job. I'll sit there and count.
Thank you.
I'll
That's
write
why
them all
you're
down.
there.
And you are in the basement of a restaurant, right? You're Sam. You're a struggling actor.
Right. I'm a struggling actor who's a reservationist at this very, very fancy, upscale, high-end restaurant.
Right.
And I have been left alone all day. My coworkers have not shown up for work. It's a busy day during the holiday season, and I'm fielding the phone line, and I'm dealing with calls from all these different New Yorkers who have a sense of entitlement and would love to come and dine at the restaurant. I'm also playing, Gwyneth Paltrow's assistant. I'm playing the maniacal chef. I'm playing the hostess. I'm playing the line cook Hector. So I'm playing Heston Blumenthal, the founder of molecular gastronomy, who's in from London. So it's a real fun, it's fun toggling between all those characters.
You've had this great, obvious job on TV in Modern Family. But you've done a great job of coming back and you've done a lot of Shakespeare in the Park, a lot of fancy Shakespeare plays.
Yeah.
You're very highbrow. And but it seems like this is supposed to be like a lot of actors just take breaks when you're not filming your TV show.
I did that one summer, and I was great for like 2 weeks, and then I got incredibly bored.
Really?
And did not know what to do with myself, and I didn't take care of myself. I just stopped showering, and my beard grew out. I was like, I gotta pull myself together. So
you need this.
I do need it. This is a lot. This summer, it's a lot.
I was going to say, this does not seem like a break at all.
Not at all, because I finished shooting Modern Family early February, I think, or March. I don't even remember. I don't even know what month I'm in. But I started immediately into rehearsals for Fully Committed, and I'm going to go right until I start production again for season 8 of Modern Family. So usually with Shakespeare in the Park, I have a little bit of a buffer on either side. But the thing is, theater is what I love doing. It's what I studied. I love that interaction between an audience and a cast. I love Modern Family. It's probably the greatest job I'll ever have.
Right.
But I have to come back and do theater. So it's not something everyone's like, well, why are you working so hard? It doesn't feel like work. This does feel like a vacation to me, which is crazy.
Right.
And also explains my stress level. Because I don't know how to relax.
Yeah, well, watching the show, I was amazed that you are taking this on. I mean, it's a lot.
It is a lot, yeah.
So the characters. So Jason Moore is your director. Jason Moore, we know, created Avenue Q.
And Shrek.
And he directed Sisters, which I just
Pitch
watched.
Perfect.
And Pitch Perfect. Hello, Pitch Perfect. And it's nice to have him back as well. So what was the development? And I know you started rehearsing this. You started like working on the characters at least while you were still filming Modern Family, right?
Yeah,
I put up some funny photos about that on Instagram.
Yeah. When I was doing The Tempest in the park last summer, Patrick Catula and Barbara Whitman, my producers, said, "Would you look at Fully Committed for maybe next summer?" So we did a casual reading of it in Barbara Whitman's apartment with Becky Mode, the writer, and talked about what would this be if we did it, what changes would we make. And we decided to go forward with it, and then we started looking for directors. And I met with Jason when he was in Los Angeles, like back in October or November, and we decided to do this. And I told Jason it's gonna be a really unconventional rehearsal process because once I'm done with Modern Family, it's like we hit the ground running. I'm in a rehearsal room for 10 days, and then I'm in tech, and then we have to open the show.
Right.
So I need to start working on this show, casually with a director and a dialect coach, like now.
But this is one of those things where I've never been an actor, but when I watch somebody do something like this, I literally don't know how you memorize something like this. Like I literally,
Paul, when I got the script, I read it and it's like, I don't understand how this is humanly possible.
Right.
So having not seen it, I went to Lincoln Center and watched it at the archives because they have an amazing resource there where you can watch these archive performances. And I watched Mark Setlock do it at the Vineyard Theater, and it's like, okay, I see that it's at least possible. It still looks really, really hard, but I can see that it's doable. But I don't think I would have been able to do this had I not had that buffer of time.
Yeah.
Because I was still memorizing lines from Modern Family, and then in the back of my head, trying to memorize Caroline Rosenstein Fishburne calling for table 31.
Yeah. So. Well, hats off to you. I don't know how the hell you do it.
Well,
but I'm impressed.
Listen, I'm no Leonardo DiCaprio. I wasn't in snow being mauled by a bear, but it's just under that as far as difficulty level.
So is this world still a thing in the world of Open Table? Like, so I love Open Table.
I do too.
I love an Open Table app because I hate this type of
You don't have to deal with people.
Right? Yeah. The less people I have to talk to.
Yeah.
But is this still a thing? Are there still restaurants that exist like this?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Especially the really high-end ones. You're not going to find a table on Open Table.
They're not going to let just any slob press a button on
No.
Open Table and get a
if you
reservation.
call enough in advance, I guess anyone can go. But then you have to pay the price of this very expensive tasting menu that you're about to have.
Now you are a known celebrity now, and you can get tables. Do you ever throw your weight around to get into the restaurant you want?
Let me tell you what, I've tried it before. I've tried calling as myself and saying my full name, and then I've been rejected. And that does not feel good. So now what I do, the closest I'll get to that is I'll call and pretend to be my assistant or someone on like my publicist, and I'll say
you will pretend like
I'll pretend like I'm someone else. I'm giving away all my secrets. And sometimes the reason being because if I get rejected, at least I feel like they're rejecting that person and not me directly.
Right. Yeah.
I have such a thick skin in so many ways as an actor, but then in other ways I'm like I'm not gonna name drop myself.
Right.
It feels gross.
Let's rewind. Jesse Tyler Ferguson, who we first met on The Town. Mm-hmm. You were 21, right?
21, yeah.
And I'm going to talk about like crappy jobs because obviously this is about a struggling actor who's working in a basement and it's kind of a crappy job. Did you have any like really bad? And I know you famously worked in a souvenir store.
I did.
That's your famous.
Theater Circle. Before that, Actors Heritage, for those who are of the right age, would know that place was once called Actors Heritage, worked there as well.
These are different souvenir stores.
Dating myself,
in the district.
Yes. I bartended in the rear bar of the orchestra level of the Winter Garden when Cats was playing there. So I saw Cats a lot.
So you saw a lot of Cats.
I saw a lot of Cats. I don't think that's a bad job though. I mean, I was like in the midst of it.
You'd be good in Cats. I think you could pull off some of those.
A good Grisabella, or the White Cat. I babysat a lot.
Okay.
None of them were terrible jobs where I was like, I want to kill myself. Like I enjoyed all those jobs. I would rather have been performing.
Right, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you were working in the souvenir stores, what was the hot items that people were just at that time?
I think probably now it's anything Hamilton. But at the time, and I probably still to this day, because we were right across the street from the Majestic where Phantom is playing. It was anything Phantom.
Remember those glow-in-the-dark T-shirts?
Oh, I think they still exist.
The mask would glow.
So
you'd have those? I don't know.
I think they do. I'm going to go check. I'm actually going to walk into there in a few days. You had to fold the T-shirts so all the eyes of the mask would line up so they look good on the shelf. And it would definitely bother me when people would start rifling through that because that took a long time to do. And then they just undo all your work looking for an extra large. It really was disheartening.
Do you stop by the souvenir store and just give the kids hope? I mean, you're the most famous, right? I mean,
I am here to
Is there a
give you
statue
hope.
of you? There must be a portrait of you in the souvenir.
No, there's not. I don't know if people even know that I work there.
I do.
Well,
I remember
know you
that
do.
story.
Who could forget?
Well, now they know.
Now they know.
So you did On the Town. It did not run. You know, it ran a couple months.
Yeah, it had its run in the park
You did
at
it
the
in the park,
Theater,
you
and
did it
then
on
it ran
Broadway.
for 3 months on Broadway.
Yeah.
It was at the Gershwin Theater.
The enormous, yes.
Before Wicked.
Yes,
Yeah.
before Wicked.
Imagine that theater with 200 people in it. Nothing's more depressing.
Yeah, yeah.
Just all huddled to the front of the stage, and there's just vast emptiness behind them.
And you're doing comedy.
Musical comedy.
Obviously, you did Leave Coney Bear in
Yes.
Spelling Bee.
Yes.
In the same exact right below that.
Right
Circle in the
below.
Square.
Couldn't get off that block.
Would you be interested in revisiting those characters years later? Because I love that cast so much.
We just did a reunion concert of Spelling Bee last summer.
Right.
And the whole cast came back to do it. And it was the greatest night of my life.
But I want to check in with them. I want to check
Oh,
in. I want
where
to see
are
the
they
characters
now?
as adults. I would just love to see.
I'm scared to see what Leaf Coney Bear
Are
up
you?
to these days.
I'm sure he worked out great.
Do you? Oh, thank you. He's now what? 26. Yeah, maybe he's. Yeah, I don't know. I hope
I
he's
don't know.
married.
I feel like
I
every
hope he
10
still has
years.
cats.
I think it's just a William Finn thing because I also think there should just always be a new Marvin musical.
Yeah.
I would just love to always see where
please.
Marvin's at.
Absolutely.
I want to see Marvin as an old gay guy.
Yeah.
I want to see that musical.
I do too. I'm up for that.
Can you call him and
I want that part.
you want old Marvin?
I want old Marvin.
Yes.
I'm about the right age now.
Yeah, I don't know. So then I know after Spelling Bee, you started getting a lot of TV interest, right? I mean, you started that was sort of a great moment for you, right?
The producers of a show called The Class came
Yeah.
to see that,
Yeah.
and I was cast in that, and it was
Yeah.
a great cast. It only ran a season, but
Right.
it was a good show, yeah.
I feel like you witnessed what's happening now, which is that theater actors are really getting great opportunities.
Sutton is doing
Yeah.
rock star. She's a rock star right now. Miriam Shore is
Yeah.
also on Younger. Kristen Chenoweth obviously is always showing
Yeah.
up. Audrey McDonald. Yeah, everyone's really.
It's been interesting.
That line is blurring, which is great because I think there was a stigma specifically about musical theater performers. That,
Right.
they don't really know how to act.
Right.
And that's just obviously not the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, you must be out there and you go another person I know from the theater world just got a TV job. Another person.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very
we
exciting.
announce on Broadway.com every year. There's people so many people are getting jobs. It's great.
It's great.
Because I feel like in the 80s and 90s that wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening.
Right.
So I'm happy to be part of that trend. What I just hope is that people remember that this is where my alliance is and where my love is, and there are people I was just talking to an executive over at Fox, and they were saying, they want to come see Fully Committed, and they're like, well, how does that work? Is it just on the weekends? Every day on the weekend? I was like, oh God, that's. So I love that people remember that this is where I started.
Yeah, absolutely, and we love to have you back.
Yeah.
Do you want to do another big Broadway musical?
Yes.
That's something you do.
100%.
You're totally on board for that.
For sure. It just it takes a lot more time. It takes 5 months to put something like that up.
Yeah.
And I just don't have that window of time right now.
Right.
But an encore or something would be fun in the meantime.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course I would love to do something like that.
So you're starting Modern Family, what, season 9? 8? 9?
8.
8. It's a big run.
It's a long.
So how long is it
healthy
going to
run.
go?
Well, the 8th year is our last contracted year,
Right.
so we'll see. I could be done after year 8, or they could ask for more.
So you could be doing a big Broadway musical in a year.
I could be doing a big Broadway musical in a year.
We got to start
so let's
plotting that.
Start thinking about
We
what
gotta
that's
get
going
William
to be.
Finn
What
on.
would it be?
We got William Finn working on that, I think.
I'd love to do something with Bill again.
Yeah. In the day-to-day of Modern Family, what is it like on set? What is it like? It's such a great cast. I mean, when we watch it on TV, it just feels like magic. It just captured something, right? I mean,
It was definitely a lightning in a bottle moment.
Yeah. When did you realize that was happening?
Well,
early on?
When we were shooting the pilot, I was like, wow, this just feels really good.
Yeah.
It feels like a good show. But you never know how it's going to be edited together and how the audience is going to respond to it. And then the audience responded to it well, and it screened very well when they were screening the pilots that year. And it's just all the pieces kept falling into place. But it wasn't until the second season that I was like, okay, I can breathe a little easier now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you must.
Because you never know. I mean, it's
Right.
such a rocky landscape, the television world. Shows win Emmy Awards and then still get canceled.
So tell us about your fabulous life in LA. I mean, you must have a great life.
I'm very happy. Well, I'm married. I mean, my life has changed
Justin.
so much since when I lived in New York. I'm married now. I have a dog. You know, we're looking to start a family. No news on that front. Don't even ask. But I'm not pregnant. But
Damn, I was hoping to break that story.
I know. I'm sorry to disappoint. But it's a very, very different lifestyle. You know, in Los Angeles, you can go swimming in December, and it's like a thing.
Yeah.
You can get in a car and buy groceries.
Right.
You can get in a car and buy groceries.
Right.
It's a very different landscape out there, but I love it. It's great. But I love coming back to New York.
So tell me about like the fabulous LA gay pool parties. Tell us about the underbelly. Tell us about the world.
I'm too old for the gay pool parties. But God, I mean, what can I tell you? I mean,
it is interesting that you did a really nice job to give you a little pat on the back. You did a really nice job with like being very out the minute you got to LA. I think probably the first time somebody asked you in an interview, you were like, "Yeah, I'm gay," right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you were just very like that. That was never.
It was very matter of fact, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't. There was no story around it,
right?
Which is fine, but I didn't need that.
Right, and you are one of the biggest Hollywood names, openly gay Hollywood names. I mean, there still aren't that many.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been, first of all, impossible for me to, as a gay man, do the role of Mitchell and then not talk about how I'm gay in real life.
Yeah,
it doesn't line up for me.
People would have hated you.
Oh, they would have hated me. But it was never a question. But it's great because I feel like there is a social impact that Cam and Mitch bring to the pop culture zeitgeist, and like they are a pop culture touchstone as a talking point for what it is, gay marriage or accepting gay people.
Yeah.
So I'm in a very blessed position because I also get to then use that platform to talk about things that I care very much about. Because Tyler Ferguson is also an advocate for LGBTQ equality, and so I was able to start a foundation, Tie the Knot, with my husband, and we raise funds for LGBTQ equality.
How does that work? Can we talk about it? About Tie the Knot? How does it actually raise funds? I mean, first of all, the tie designs are beautiful.
Thank you.
And they're always being refreshed. And I don't wear bow ties, but I kind of want to.
We have some long ties as well.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Cufflinks and things.
Cool.
All the proceeds go to our foundation, and then from there we distribute it to the money to organizations who are sort of in the trenches fighting for LGBTQ rights.
Cool.
HRC, Respect for Marriage Coalition. We've actually been giving money now recently to women's reproductive rights. Just things that we care about.
Yeah.
So it's great because we can sort of put the money where we want it to go.
It's wonderful. I mean, it's wonderful that. Do you feel like you are naturally sort of an activist, or do you like just sort of your circumstance?
I kind of married into that a little bit. I mean, I am like ideologically in my head, like yes, I am an activist, but Justin sort of ignited that in me, my husband. So because he's a lawyer and he sort of has that mentality. So he definitely stoked that fire.
So are any of these characters in Flinkman, do any of them haunt you? Any of these like characters you're playing? Like are any of them like were any like harder to pull off than others, or? Yeah,
I mean the ones with the broader accents are just naturally harder because I wasn't classically trained and I didn't have dialect class when I went to acting school. So those are just technically harder.
Yeah.
And because we have some rewrites coming in, I did fall asleep last night like replaying some of these characters in my head.
Yeah. Well, this show is going to run what, through July 24th?
Yes.
A limited run. She has to go back to Hollywood and make us laugh on Modern Family. It's at the Lyceum Theater. And everyone needs to come check it out, right?
Yeah, please do.
And you stage dooring. You're saying hi to people afterwards.
I always come out and say hi.
Always
if
say
anyone
hi.
wants to meet me or get an autograph or a selfie.
Thank you so much for being
Thanks,
here.
Paul.
Everyone check out Fully Committed at the Lyceum Theater. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.